Welcome to True Crime Unleashed and happy Monday. I've been having a chance to go through some of these newly dumped documents by the Moscow Police Department, and yes, a lot of them are really confusing and don't make a lot of sense. That's why I'm going down later today to buy some printer paper so I can print it all out and get it all in context and order. Just like this one from Lawrence Mowry, and is dated 11/28/2022. And these are the initial interviews for Dylan and Bethany and the rest of them. On November 13th, 2022, I was directed to interview potential witnesses in regards to the Moscow incidents at 1122 King Road. I like the way they try to skirt around it was a homicide by calling it an incident, which is kind of stupid. The following interviews were conducted at the Moscow Police Department. Interview one was, of course, Dylan Mortensen, and the date of birth is redacted out, but she was born in 2003. Her phone number is redacted out. On 11/13/2022, Dylan Mortensen was interviewed in regard to the homicide investigation at 1122 King Road. And see, and here's what the weird part. A lot of times it's called 1122 King Road. Sometimes it's called 1122 Queen Road. Maddie even says Queen Road when during uh, the cops come to the house with noise complaint, and they talk to her on the phone, and she says 1122 Queen Street. So what exactly is it? Is it King Road? Is it Queen Road? We'll never know. DM said she was a resident of the house where the incident occurred. There, they're calling it an incident again instead of a homicide. DM said she was at a, it's redacted out, party, more likely sorority party or something like that, at around 10:30 on 11/12/2022, where she was drinking. DM said she went to, and it's redacted out, house, more likely Pi Beta Phi. DM said she believed she arrived home between 12:30 and 1 a.m. on 11/13/2022. DM stated she thought Bethany arrived home around 20 minutes after she arrived. DM said she believed Maddie and Kaylee arrived home around 1:30 or 2 on 11/13/2022. DMs said, there's a lot of DM said, there DM stated, DM said, DM stated. DM said up to this, nothing weird had happened during the night. DM said she and her friend, and it's redacted with a question mark, uh, came home, followed by Bethany, her roommate, at the residence. DM said when Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez came home from the corner club at the same time, and everyone went to bed. Now, see, here's the interesting part. DM said she and her friend. And the name is abbreviated and redacted out with a question mark. Came home. So does that mean Dylan showed up at the house with somebody? That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. DM said she and her friend, and it's redacted with their and you could tell it's abbreviated. Uh, came home followed by Bethany, her roommate at the residence, and she said when Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez came home from the corner club at the same time, everyone went to bed. Well, we all know that Xana wasn't in bed. Xana was on her TikTok and she made a DoorDash order from her phone. So that's not everyone being in bed. And I'd like to know who this friend is that DM came home with. It's very, very interesting. DM was asked about the layout of her house. DM said Kayla's room was directly above her room and said she lived on the second floor and Kaylee lived on the third floor. Well, we've all we've all heard that Kaylee wasn't technically living there. She had moved back in with her parents and she just came back that weekend to show Maddie her new Range Rover. DM said Kaylee and Maddie both live upstairs on the third floor in separate rooms. DM said Xana lived closest to the bathroom on the second floor and Bethany lived on the first floor. When asked about Murphy, DM said it was a dog owned in common between Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, uh, Jack Decor. Said that there were no apparent issues between Kaylee and Jack. Said Maddie had a boyfriend named Jake who was in Boise at the time of the incident. DM indicated Xana was dating Ethan Chapin, who was in the room with her at the time of the incident. I wish they would quit calling it an incident and call it what it is, a homicide. DM did not know of anyone who would want to hurt Ethan. When she was asked, DM was asked if she saw any cars in the area that should not be there. DM said, "No, I was not really looking at that." DM said she woke up around 4 a.m. on 11/13/2022 when she could hear Kaylee and Murphy the dog dancing. Dance. DM said she knew it was Kaylee because she recognized her voice and could hear Murphy barking. Okay. What she was more than likely hearing was Kaylee and Maddie being unalived. But Kaylee and Murphy dancing. DM said she heard Kaylee go upstairs and say there is someone here. DM said uh, DM said thought she heard Kaylee run back down the stairs. DM said Kaylee sounded scared when she made this statement. DM said at this time she jumped up, locked the door because she did not know what else to do. DM said she called out Kaylee's name and did not indicate if she got a response. DM said she then tried to call Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie on their phones. DM was asked if she saw anyone coming downstairs or heard anything. DM said, no, I don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors and never had problems before. It was just really random. Now, what she heard could have been Xana. It could have been Xana going upstairs to see what the commotion was. Xana coming out, seeing the back door open. Xana walking up the stairs because she more likely heard a commotion because Maddie's room was directly uh, above the kitchen. So that could have been Xana running down the stairs yelling, "There's someone here." And the way Dylan puts it here, it was just really random. When asked again about the series of events, uh, DM said she opened the door uh, when she cried out to Kaylee, then closed the door because she was scared. Uh, Dylan said she then opened the door again and heard who she thought was Kaylee, but could have been Xana, crying in the bathroom. Dylan said she then heard a man's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." DM said it was weird because the statement was not in a nice way and the voice was one she had never heard before. This document is a lot of DM stated this, DM stated that. I mean, yes, it was her initial interview for the murder investigation, but just some of the stuff she's saying in this interview is really perplexing and kind of weird. DM said she believed the suspect was white, but did not remember eyebrow color or what his eyes looked like. DM said when she saw the suspect, he saw her and just left. DM said she believed he was holding something near his stomach or belt line. DM used both hands to point straight out from her uh, abdomen. DM then moved her hands apart and back together to simulate the bulge. Okay, she moved her hands apart and back together to simulate the bulge. DM said this area was black in color, and she thought now maybe it was a gun. What the hell? DM said the unknown object had an arrow shape. Seemed really unsure and said she was tired during the event. First, it was in the shape of a gun. Now it's an arrow shape. What the hell is going on? Ay ay ay. DM was asked how long she believed it was from the time Kaylee said someone is here to when she saw the suspect. DM said she thought it was about 10 or 20 minutes. DM went on to say she was in and out. She was in and out of it, and she did not fully remember the incident. DM was asked where the suspect was at in the residence. When DM saw him, DM said the suspect was between her bedroom door and the kitchen door. Said she remembered watching the suspect go out the kitchen door and leave. DM said at this time she closed her door and locked it as fast as she could. DM said the suspect did not walk towards her or say anything. DM said once the suspect left, she immediately called Bethany. Dylan said, okay, you see the suspect leave, and your first response is to immediately call Bethany? You say that you see this bulge, and you think it's a gun, and it's arrow shaped. What is going on? It makes me wonder because Bethany supposedly heard what sounded like a firecracker and she saw a flash. Could that have been somebody firing a gun? Because when you pull the trigger, the muzzle does flash. But where does the arrow shape come from? Somebody in the house using a bow and arrow? Ay 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 ay. Make that make sense. Oh wait, I forgot this is the Idaho4. Nothing makes sense. And instead of calling 911 when you saw the perpetrator leave, you immediately called Bethany? Why not just call 911? Like instantly. DM said the suspect did not walk toward her or say anything. DM said once the suspect left, she immediately called Bethany. And you couldn't have called 911 instead of immediately calling Bethany. You could have immediately called 911, then called Bethany. Bethany informed her she heard a sound that sounded like a firecracker. Well, what else sounds like a firecracker? Oh, I don't know. Maybe a gun? Like what Dylan was describing in her initial interview? She thought now maybe it was a gun? I don't know about these two. I really don't. I'm not knocking them in any way, but yeah, I just don't know about these two. I'm going to be digging more into this document in later videos. I hope everyone has a good Monday, and I'll be dropping another video about this later on today. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe and click that bell notification to all for all my new uploads and deep dives. This is True Crime Unleashed. I'm out, guys. Peace.